Hey, just turning on my microphone. I thought I'd have that previous fight without the microphone so you don't hear the zzz in the background. Yes, this was a Diablo Inferno post SS Nerf kill. Managed to find another way around it. I don't know if this is different to other people's post SS Nerf Diablo Inferno kills, but this is the way I did it, and I will show you. And I'm going to make a video in detail on how to kill Diablo, so stay tuned for that, and I'll probably put a link for that in a comment somewhere or on an annotation on this video at some point when it's finished. But it's going to be an in-depth sort of like discussion, and I'm going to go over everything as briefly but detailed as I can, just to help you and my approach with it. But for the rest of this video, I'm just going to show you my skills and gear, because that's what everyone's always interested in. So, Hungering Arrow for my generator of hatred with Puncturing Arrow, Impale with Chemical Burn, Preparation with Focused Mind, Smokescreen with Lingering Fog, Evasive Fire with Displace, Caltrops with Jagged Spikes, Tactical Advantage for my passive skill, Steady Aim for my passive skill, and Archery for my passive skill. Now, looking at my stats, you can see I have 1781 dexterity, so assumably all I'm doing is basically focusing purely on dexterity, which increases my damage. I'm also increasing my attack speed with every little bit that I can on any piece of gear that can have attack speed, and the passives that I've picked allow me to have an extra 35% damage, which results in 43,000 damage in total at the moment. So hopefully you can hit up to about that mark, because this fight is about damage really more than anything, because if you get hit once in this fight you're probably dead anyway unless you have a ridiculous amount of health, and even then I'm not even sure it's a great idea to have a really long fight, to drag this out longer than it needs to go, because it's just more likely you're going to make more mistakes. So it's all about damage and no health. You can see I have only 9,516 health, so I'm not interested in health, as you can tell. So you can have a little look, pause the video if you need to, but if you're looking around my gear, you're going to see essentially pure dexterity whenever I can put it, and an attack speed on the amulet, because that can have it. Your gloves can have attack speed. Your belt goes back to dexterity, then back to dexterity. Your rings can also have attack speed, so they have it. Your legs are back on vitality. Boots, sorry, did I say vitality? That's because I was reading the vitality bit. I didn't want vitality. If I could, I'd have 237 dexterity, but that's the way those legs go. So, dexterity again, attack speed on your quiver, but you always get that anyway, and dexterity. I also tried to get, I'll obviously show the bow, and that's a very nice bow. It's not the best bow you could possibly have, but it's certainly above average, so that helps me out a lot. So you want a decent weapon. You want to hit about 40k damage if you can. It's probably doable without 40k damage, but 40k damage will make the fight a lot smoother for you and transition into certain phases a lot quicker, which gives you more discipline. Whereas I found with lower DPS, sometimes you're a bit sketchy for your discipline when you need it the most. But speaking of discipline, the other thing I was going to say is some of my gear actually has plus discipline, which is my quiver at least, and I believe my Demon Hunter Torso Rare Cloak also has a little bit of discipline, which allows me to have up to 43 discipline. So if I can get away with not using discipline during the fight for as long as possible, I have a whole whopping 43 to use it when those shit moments happen, and you just have to burn through a whole ton of it. So that helps me out a lot. Now, the other thing I would probably say, and I'm going to say this in my how-to video, is these are two big tips, okay, for if you want to try and down Diablo. On top of the skills and the gear that I use, that's how I did it. You can see I've done it. So if you can match that, as long as you can pretty much play the way I was doing, then you should be able to download him? Down him as well. So I'll say three things actually, but I'm going to cover all of this in my how-to video, so please check that out. I'm going to get cracking on with that as soon as possible, but you know, it's stutter move or something like that, attacking. stutter. I can't remember the actual proper term for it, but it's essentially, say Diablo's on the bottom right, it's attack, 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 attack. And if you can use your impale ability as well, which I find is a little more trickier than using the left mouse button, then that's all good. That's all gravy. So you want to go click, click. It's a lot harder to do, but when you're in the flow of it and you've had enough practice, it usually goes off quite smoothly, generally. And the other tip, latency. This is the only time I will get latency like this. You need to play whenever your off-peak hours are. For me, it's usually morning to early afternoon. After that point, latency rises right up, makes it a lot more difficult to stutter attack and do all of that because your character just lags about, and sometimes you get caught by abilities that you shouldn't have got caught by. So we all know that lag is a big issue. So the best way to fight it is simply to play at a time when it's not going to affect you. And the final tip is sound. Now this is crucial. It's not that crucial once you're used to the fight, and if you've done it enough times like I have, then yeah, you can pretty much tell what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. But this is the best way to give yourself a chance of avoiding any attacks that he's going to have, specifically the fireball attacks. If you have your effects volume full whack compared to everything else, you will hear him grunt, or the sort of flame noise of certain fireballs. The AoE fireball sounds different to the single fireball that sort of targets you and then blows up into a little circle. I say a little circle, it's rather big, but you can sort of hear them a lot more crisper and clearer, and it allows you to react that much faster if you have the sound effects way up. So I'm just going to have a little look at this gear. There's a rare. I'm sure it's going to be the best rare I've ever seen. Let's find out. No! No, it isn't! Oh dear. That's going to sell for about 5,000 gold on the auction house. And here's the rest of it. One hand with 228 DPS. That's pretty nice. Not bad, not bad. And a cloak with no stats on it other than discipline and an improvement to grenades. Well, there it is. So you're going to have to kill him a lot of times by the looks of it to get anything even remotely good. So thank you very much for watching. This has been WTii. Like I say, please stay tuned for a guide that I'm going to upload. I'm going to try and make it as clear and concise as possible. I know that's the best way to do guides. No one likes it if someone just jabbers on for ages, much like I'm doing now. But in the guide, it's all going to be very snip snap. It's all going to be one fact after the other, and I'm going to be cutting the information and cutting the scenes, and it's all going to be brilliant. You're just going to love it. It's going to be like cinema. You're going to get your popcorn out and you're going to go, thanks, this is amazing cinema. Anyway, I'm going to stop going on now, or jabbering on, as I like to say. And yeah, please subscribe. Thank you very much.